Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Veronia, and in today's video it is the last budget update for 2021. I mean, I don't know about you, but it feels like this year has gone really quickly and there's been ups and downs, but yeah, I'm really interested to see how the last month has gone and let you guys know how we've actually been doing with our budget. So if you didn't already know, we did actually set our budget for the month of December nearer the beginning of the month, so definitely check that video out if you haven't already. I will of course link that up here for you and in the description below. But what we're going to be doing is just seeing how the month of December went and really just tracking our spending to see whether we underspent in some areas or maybe even overspent in some areas. And of course, if you are interested, you can get my exact budget template as well. So with this, it actually includes a net worth statement calculator. You also get a sinkings fund calculator, so that really helps you to save up for things over time. And then you either have the choice of getting a monthly budget template or a weekly budget template. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. I will of course leave that link in the description below for you. But without further ado, let's get started and see how our budget went for the month of December. So in terms of our monthly income, just as a quick reminder, you may or may not know that I actually ended up quitting my job in the month of November. So it's been a really interesting time, really just kind of navigating the change in income. So I've obviously not been making as much as my 9-to-5 job, but I did get paid a few hundred just because I did work a couple of days in the month of November. In terms of my husband's salary, so he actually works a 9-to-5 job, in case you didn't know. So that is also part of our income, and we also took some money out of my business income as well. So there's been a little bit of a mixture that was going on in the month of December. It's obviously not as much as we did have in the previous months, but we were still able to make a great budget with it. So let's go through our spending and see how we actually did. So in terms of our savings and investments, this month what we actually did is we had around 300 that we could allocate towards our investments, and so that's actually what we did. We chose to actually invest in my husband's stocks and shares ISA. We were going to also invest in my stocks and shares ISA, but I actually decided that I wanted to put it into my business again. A big reason for that is because I was joining a coaching program, so I wanted to have some money for that. So essentially those were our investments for the month of December, which was all good. And so what you will start to see from our budgets is actually we will probably interchange between like savings and investments. We do have quite a lot of savings already and we do want to build on that next year as well, but at the moment we decided actually let's just really focus on our investments for now, as well as our savings later on, hopefully once our income starts to change. So 300 went towards that, which was absolutely great, especially because I no longer have the stable 9-to-5 income anymore. Despite that, we were still able to put some of our money into our investments this month. And then we now move over to essential bills. Most of it has remained the same, but that basically all got paid out. So we still do pay 1,050 for rent. In terms of our water, that still remains 50. Some of you may know that our electric and gas bill actually increased, and I'm sure a lot of you will know that gas prices have really been increasing. And let me know in the comments actually, has your gas price also increased? So ours is now 62.86. Whether it's going to increase again, I probably wouldn't be surprised, but we'll see. Then obviously we paid our council tax, broadband, iCloud, our SIM only contracts as well. So again, if you are UK based, we actually use Voxy as part of our SIM contract, and that allows us to have endless social media. We do get a lot of data as well, and obviously unlimited minutes and text. So definitely check out Voxy if you are looking for a SIM contract. I will leave a link in the description below because we do get a voucher if you do use my link. And then of course we didn't need to pay for TV license because we actually paid for the year. I should probably just take this off the budget. I'm not really sure why I've just left it there, but sometimes it's a good reminder to know that we have actually paid our TV license. And then of course when it comes to our charity tithes and giving, that was all paid out, as is probably one of the most important things that we like to do whenever we get paid. And if you're liking this video so far, then feel free to give me a thumbs up, as it really does help to support the channel, plus it's free. Again, moving over to sinking funds. So these are really expenses that we'd like to save up for over time. We haven't really been putting much money into our sinking funds because we already have quite a lot of sinking funds in place, particularly because we did have money put aside. I mean, I already had a Christmas sinking fund that I'd been saving from the beginning of the month, so I already had money set aside for that. And then also because we got married, we also got some monetary gifts, so we decided to use some of that money for our sinking funds. So we pretty much have quite a lot of sinking funds put in place. What I will start thinking about next year is when do we want to start saving up for different things again, because that's also going to be coming around relatively soon. But at the moment we don't need to put some money into our sinking funds, which was good, so nothing was paid out this month. And then we move over to spending. So in terms of our petrol, we went over again. So yeah, petrol always seems to be really increasing, and I know that it's actually the petrol prices that have increased because again we've not really been traveling much in December, particularly in the month of December. I mean, we were actually sick for a good few days, so we didn't actually end up traveling that much, but in terms of petrol prices it has been quite expensive. So in terms of our petrol, we did budget 120, but we actually ended up spending 129. Then when it came to groceries, so we did budget 136 for groceries. We actually only ended up spending 115 for the month of December. And I will say a big reason for that is because I think I mentioned it before. Well, my husband mentioned that obviously because we would be going to so many different family events, we'd probably end up taking some food home, so we wouldn't end up needing to buy groceries. And so that basically happened. And particularly if you follow me on Instagram, then you would see the food that we ended up taking from all of these different family events. So obviously that meant that we didn't need to spend as much on groceries, which was great. So it did mean that we actually ended up being under budget for groceries, as we only spent 115. Then next up, let's talk about toiletries. So in terms of toiletries, we did set a budget for 30, and that's usually how much we will spend on average per month. Sometimes it is slightly more, sometimes slightly less. So this month it was actually slightly less, so we only ended up spending 16 on toiletries. Again, I think a big reason for that is because we were sick during the month of December, which meant we had to stay at home. So you can guess what we had, and so because of that we were pretty much isolating for a good few days in December, so obviously meant that we couldn't actually go shopping. So yeah, as you can start to see, there are some categories where we haven't actually spent as much money as we thought we would, which is obviously a nice thing, but a part of that is because actually of things that were out of our control. But yeah, with toiletries we pretty much only spent about half of the budget. And then in terms of our spending, I mean, I don't really know how my husband's spending went because we don't really tend to ask questions because that's just our own individual money. But in terms of my own spending, again, I didn't spend very much. I mean, I did meet with my friends in the beginning of the month, but we actually didn't go out. We decided to actually meet at my flat because they hadn't seen my flat yet, and we decided to have like a bit of a sushi night and obviously have like different nibbles, and that really didn't cost very much anyway. So I didn't actually end up spending very much, but what I am going to do is I am going to start putting some of that money into certain sinking funds. So like even with my Christmas sinking fund, I didn't actually end up spending the full Christmas fund, so I'm going to put some money into that for next year. And I also want to get some Christmas decor during this sales because we didn't have a lot of Christmas decor at all this year, so I want to get some on sale so that I can basically have that for next year. So I'm planning to do that. And also actually it is my birthday next month, so I am a January baby, so I may just like save some money so that I can enjoy. But whether I'm actually going to be going out very much in January whilst it's cold, probably not, but it's nice to have some money to spend, so that was all great. And then in terms of date night, again, we were pretty much sick for basically half of it, so we didn't really go out, but we did get some takeaways and counted that as date night. But originally we did budget 70 for date night and we only ended up spending 34. Then when it came to personal care, so we did budget 40, and what we've actually done is we've just like taken the 40 out because we are going to be using it, but it's going to be used in January, so we've decided to actually still keep that 40, but we are still going to end up spending it. But 40 was pretty much all we needed for this month. And then when it came to miscellaneous, so we did budget about 35 for that, and we only ended up spending 20 for miscellaneous. And then of course when it came to our pennies, I mean, we just had some loose change left, so we decided to put that into the pennies jar, and that was of course paid out. So you can see in terms of our spending, I mean, we actually only ended up just spending over 550, so we did have quite a lot of money left over. I mean, I would say the biggest reason is because we were ill for some of that, and then also because we had different family events. We obviously didn't have to spend so much money on food, but then obviously we didn't go out as much as we thought we were going to. So I'm thinking what we will do is actually carry some of that money till next month, because next month our income has also changed as well, so it's actually quite nice to have some money left over so that we can also use that for our budget for the month of January. So yeah, I'm of course very happy that we have been able to stick to our budget this month, and it's something we've been able to do for the past few months. And so if you do find maybe you have been struggling with sticking to your budget and you really want to be able to take a bit more control when it comes to your finances, then definitely check out my one-to-one coaching program, because that's something that I really do deep dive with my clients as well, to make sure that they have a budget that is something that they can stick to, but that also doesn't feel so restricting. So if you are interested, then you can of course book a free interest call with me, and we will go through what you're struggling with and see if the program is right for you. So if you did like this video, then please do give me a thumbs up if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments, how did your last budget for 2021 go? I do post every Tuesday and Friday, so if you would like to know more, then of course you can subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys on Friday.